Welcome to Megabucks Radio. Conversations with successful entrepreneurs, sharing their tips and strategies for success. Real-world ideas that can put megabucks in your bank account. Here's your host, Nina Hirschberger.
Hello, this is Nina Hirschberger, and welcome to today's show. Today, I am honored to have a friend of mine, but a brilliant chiropractor by the name of Dr. Fedich. And Dr. Fedich is out in New Jersey. We're recording this in November of 2020, about ready to do some lockdowns in some of the states, but he has just been really busy in the area that he's in. People are well, they're doing things, but I wanted to focus today on what he is doing to get so many people, how his business is growing. Dr. Fedich, as I recall, you actually were in an accident when you were fairly young, when you were just a teenager, and it was that gave you the idea that you wanted to be a chiropractor. Why don't you go back in time for a minute and tell us that story?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on, Nina. It's a pleasure to be with everybody. So I'm 6'5", if you don't know who I am, so I'm a pretty big guy, and I was pretty athletic as a kid, basketball, baseball, all that stuff, really lived for basketball. And we were going to a wedding upstate New York where my dad's family is from. Someone ran a stop sign and basically sideswiped our car, put the four of us in the hospital for a few days, collapsed lungs, some injuries, and I came out with a pretty good back injury. And I remember being 13 and I just barely gringing through school, and I would come home and I just remember laying on the flat floor on the dining room floor for a couple hours. My back would just hurt so bad, and just laid on the hard floor for a little while. And, that wasn't too much fun. And at that point, 13-year-old boy, besides girls, it was really basketball. So I was really sad I missed my basketball. So my mom takes me to a chiropractor, and actually my grandmother had gone to a chiropractor for some issues that nobody could help back when pretty much nobody went to chiropractors, literally probably close to 100 years ago. And, my mom took me in, a couple adjustments. I was all back to normal. I was back to playing sports and feeling great. And then it just so happened we had like a career paper at school, and my dad was an engineer, which I thought was about the most boring job in the world, and I probably still do. And my mom stayed home with us, so I figured I'd write the career paper about the chiropractor. So I hung out at his office for a day, saw what he did, saw some of the machines and helping people, and I just thought it was the coolest thing. And I always kind of liked sciences and anatomy and that stuff. So a 13-year-old kid came back from the chiropractor's office after writing my paper, and I told my parents, hey, I'm going to be a chiropractor. And pretty much I never wavered. In a lot of ways, I'm lucky. I know a lot of people have trouble finding their careers. But I stuck with it all through high school. I did my bachelor's degree in only 3 years to get to chiropractic school faster. I doubled up on sciences and graduated with honors, and went right into chiropractic school and graduated with honors there as well. My parents never told me until I finally finished chiropractic school that they never thought a 13-year-old kid would stick with his career choice his whole life. But I never wavered for 1 minute, and I'm glad I did it. It's been a great adventure.
Well, if I recall in the past when you and I have talked, in chiropractic schools, they don't teach you marketing. They don't teach you business skills. They teach you how to do adjustments. Am I right?
Yeah, all medical schools, chiropractic in particular, doesn't teach you how to run a business at all. There's a class or two here, and it's usually, unfortunately, people that failed in practice to go into teaching. So they really don't teach any of it in any of the schools. And one of the big things, for chiropractor, if you can't make it into business, you're kind of out of luck. Medical doctors can work in hospitals, and there's these backup plans, but really there's only choice for you is to make it on your own. So I was kind of lucky. My mom ended up going back to work later in life and ended up kind of running a business. So I had some exposure to that. And then I just had one teacher in school who actually taught real hands-on technique, how to actually adjust people. And he actually made us read a business book. I think there was 6 to choose from. We had to report on the business book. And that kind of got me started. I'd been around books and reading, but I never got into the whole business book genre until then. And I picked it up, and then I just have never stopped. I mean, I'm actually staring at 6 business books on my desk right now. And I was listening to an audiobook in the car, and it started me kind of learning down business marketing on my own, which I was really blessed. And I think one of the few doctors that really enjoy, most doctors, is a chore to learn business and marketing. And I've just always really loved it, loved learning about it, the new stuff and keeping up on it. And besides treating patients, it's a real pleasurable part of my job.
So when you get out of chiropractic school, you put a shingle out and you start with a 700-foot square office space. And I think you've grown a little since then. Am I right?
Yeah, so I would never tell anybody to do what I did because I did it backwards, where I was just so excited to get into practice, and because I had read some business books, I had some good mentors, I wanted to start right away. So I graduated December 2003. And, you know, you got to take 4 board exams to get your license. And the last one you take pretty much right before you graduate. And they take, especially back then, they were paper and they took a couple months to grade. But I graduated December of 03. I had my lease signed. I think it's before graduation date, I signed the lease on office space. It was 700 square foot and they kept the snow blowers in there for the office, for the mall I was in. So, and the deal was I had to fix all up myself. It was pretty inexpensive rent. And so I was in there painting and carpeting and buying used stuff. And it was a real hodgepodge place putting it together. I was driving all over, getting used equipment. And I already had the lease signed. So if I had failed my board exams, I'd be in some awful big trouble as I already had a lease. But, I think I ended up by the time I bought stuff, you know, if I had $500 in my bank account, that was a lot. But it made me go out and I had to work and get patients right away because the bills were coming, rent was due. So it made me hustle. But yeah, I turned that 700 square foot office. We took over the space next door about 4 or 5 years later to 1,400 square feet. Then we outgrew that after a few years. We moved to my offices about 4,500, 5,000 square feet. And we ran out of admin space and a lawyer across the hall went out of business. And we took over her space and we have admin offices across the hall, like another maybe 1,500 square feet. So yeah, it's certainly grown along the ways. It's grown a lot. It's been quite the fun adventure. We're now almost 17 years into practice.
Okay, so you know something about marketing, obviously, in business. So let's get into that. So COVID, 2020, marketing doesn't work or everything is shut down. I don't think that's your case. So tell me some of your secrets. What's happening and what are you finding is working now?
Yeah, great question. So I was lucky that I've been in practice for a while when COVID hit, but you know, our business got decimated just like everybody else. We went from seeing 350 patients in 1 week to 150 the next week to 90 the next week. So, you know, within 10 days, our business went to, 30% of what it was real quick. So I made some pretty good business move. We had to lay some staff off for a real short term, but we were hiring them back faster than they wanted to come back, to be honest with you. I was kind of begging people to come back because we grew it back so fast. Through basically a lot of recall programs. So, with more time in my hand, I was really hitting up Facebook and some mailing programs. But I'll walk you through. We had two or three things that worked really well for us. One, I'm a big Dan Kennedy fan, just like Nina is, and study his stuff. But we did a lot of multimedia. So what worked really well to get our numbers back up in the beginning, we did a recall postcard. We took a funny picture of me with like a goofy hat on, standing next to a skeleton. And, we basically said, we want you back. It's safe. We had a discount for their first visit back. I think we gave $20 or $30 off their first visit back in. And we also gave them a premium or freemium type thing, which those guys teach. It was a free hat, which was the goofy hat I was wearing, or a T-shirt when they came back in. And we were really selective with the list. So the parameters were, they'd been in. We didn't just mail it to any patients that had been in the office, but the people that were real regular patients, and then stopped coming in from COVID, basically. So people that were coming in 4 or 5 times a year at least, and they hadn't been in the last 3-4 months since COVID hit. So we mailed that postcard. We had really good response. We matched the postcard with a Facebook ad. So another really good recall strategy. We upload the list, and we do this before COVID, but you upload the list of inactive customers to Facebook, and you can target them with ads. And we've been doing this for years. It's one of the most effective, least expensive things you can do, especially in healthcare, but any business. So you upload your list, target them with a Facebook ad. So we targeted them with a Facebook ad that matched exactly the postcard they got in the mail. And then we sent an email, which matched it as well. So we uploaded the email list and emailed them the same offer. And we hit them with a second postcard. So they got 2 oversized postcards. They got a Facebook ad for us for probably like 60 days. And they got probably 2 or 3 emails, all with the same message. So reinforce the same message. We want you back. It's safe and healthy here. And here's a discount for your first visit back. We'll give you a free gift for coming back in. And that pretty much almost got our numbers back to normal, just that campaign right there, doing that for 60 days. And, of course, people started coming out more and that stuff. But hitting that up worked really, really well to get people back in. It was a real nice multi-step campaign. But I think one of the reasons it was most successful because we did do multi-step. They got a Facebook ad, an email, and a postcard, and 2 postcards. And that really helped ramp up our recall numbers during COVID.
Well, oftentimes businesses don't even have a list. I've seen that time and time again. I mean, I think of restaurants. I think of all sorts of different businesses. I mean, the fact that you had a list was the number one most important thing. Do you maintain that list in some sort of a health database, or is it in a separate kind of a database?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, good point. So many people don't have lists, and I'll even talk to other doctors and because we're in medical, you pretty much have to give people your names and address, even if you're not good about taking it. So, we've always had it. We do use our medical software to maintain it all, but certain people don't use it or sort through it. Like all these softwares can tell you who hasn't been in a couple months, what type of insurance people have, how many visits they use. So just having the data is really important. Keeping up on the data is really good too. So we mail, we do a monthly patient newsletter like most people should, and you get back dead addresses every month, or people moved or passed away or whatever happened. So keeping the list up to date is really, really important, which we're always fanatical about. But then, like you said, just having the list and using it, be able to sort through it. I was always amazed how many places I never hear back from, like especially during COVID. You haven't been to the hair salon in a couple months. You didn't get a postcard from them or an email or anything, or, really much of anything. So keeping in touch is really important. And like I said, keeping a list and keeping up on the list is really important. Those names go dead real fast. People move, they pass away, they divorce, all that stuff. So people, it's really important to have a list and keep up on it. And then secondly, like I said, sorting through that data, not just blasting everyone with the list. The reason that campaign works so good is because we sorted. They had to be in at least 4 times during the last year, but not have been in within the last 3 months, because they're in yesterday. I don't want to give them an offer or say we miss you when I just saw them. That doesn't look good. But I wasn't going to waste resources on a big campaign like that and somebody hadn't been in 5-10 years, because they're less likely to recall. So I think having the list and then being able to sort through it's really, really important. And any business can get a list. People will say, oh, it doesn't work for me, but you can always get names and addresses in exchange for something, and it'll work for you.
So I got 2 questions. One is, what about HIPAA laws? Did you have any kind of issues when I was sending something?
No. So with a healthcare provider, if you're in the office for, I want to say it's within a year or 2 years, maybe you're allowed to contact them by coming into the office. And we have a disclaimer on their intake form as well. But I'm pretty sure the HIPAA laws say if they've been in within, I think, a year or 2, you're allowed to contact them unless they tell you not to. So that is a nice thing.
Okay. Second thing is, did you actually send that printed newsletter out every single month during this whole pandemic?
Yeah, we never stopped. I almost stopped like the first month, and my newsletter rep has been with me forever. I use Stony Brook Publishing. They do a lot of like chiropractors and dentists, and my rep is awesome. She knows me really well and does stuff for me. But yeah, the first month I almost talked myself out of it, and she talked me back into it. So we didn't stop the newsletter. I'm always playing with parameters. I fine-tuned it a little bit. Like you said, we used to do 2-year active patients, and we fine-tuned it down to people that have been in at least 4 times in the last year. So our patient database is like 10,000 names now. So it just we can do it on mail too much. So I've tightened up the list a little bit, but I've never stopped. I don't think I've missed a month of a paper newsletter in I don't know how long.
So how many do you actually move? So every month you're massaging your data so that you can just pull those people out?
Yeah, that's what I was always doing 2 years active that they've been in within at least 2 years. And then that number started getting bigger. Then you always had the one person that came in from a promotion one time, or you didn't take their insurance, and they're never going to come back. So my parameters seem to be working. I was doing for years. They had to be in the office at least 4 times. There's 1 or 2 times. They're probably not good customers. So 4 times in the last 2 years I've been doing for years. And just recently our list is getting bigger and bigger. So I've coned it down to 1 year. So they had been at least 4 times in the office in the last 1 year. Now we have the list of everybody else. I can pull their names out, but that's just who I've been spending my resources on.
And how many does that mean? How many are you mailing out?
That's probably, with 1 year, we're probably down to like 1,500, 1,600 names for the 1 year.
Okay.
The 2 year was like 2,500. So yeah, I've just been fine tuning that as the list got bigger. I think 2 years is good for most offices that do stuff like this. But like I said, our list is getting so big, we went down to 1 year. And part of the other thing, those Facebook recall campaigns, I'm like, we can target everyone that's been in the office for the last 10 years for a couple $100 a month instead of spend all the money mailing them a newsletter. So that's another reason why we've done that.
So wait a minute, a recall campaign, what does that mean? Is that some sort of a text message or something?
Well, the recall, like I was saying before, where we upload their names onto Facebook, the people that haven't been in a while, we target them with an ad. So we've done really well with that. But actually, we do a text campaign that's worked really, really well, too. So we can talk about that. So, yeah, texting campaigns have worked really well. I think you got to be careful not to abuse this. So I think we're still trying to figure out what's the best timing for this. During COVID, I think we did 2 texting campaigns. But same idea, you sort out the list who hasn't been in a while and you send a text. The program we like for that for the office, I don't really have any vested interest. Zipwhip.com is really good. And basically you can, if you export your data into an Excel sheet, you can cut and paste up to 100 phone numbers at a time and send one text to 100 people. So we've had real simple text phrase. We try to make it personal and don't make it look like it's mass. like a text. We just did this not too long ago. It said, hey, Nina, this is, or actually we can't use your name in the personalization, but hey, this is Maddie from Village Family Clinic. I just noticed I haven't seen you in a couple months. Don't tell Dr. Fedich, but if you come in with the next 2 weeks, I'll give you $20 off your next visit. And something real simple like that we played around with, and that's done really well. We actually just, the 100 limit kind of aggravated me in the beginning, but it turns out kind of good because like 30 of those people text back, and then it's like a lot of work for the staff, so it kind of works out good just doing that 100 a day, even though I'd like to do like 1,000. But that's a really good, easy campaign, and that ZipWhip program is like $100 a month, and there's no other charges for it. So it's literally just a company, it's a staff time, and what kind of offer you want to give. And that's a really powerful campaign, especially now. And any business can do that too. Yeah, you can text your inactive customers for pennies.
So you're a very fast talker. So spell what it is that you're using.
Yeah, so the program we like, and there's other ones out there, but ZipWhip, ZipWhip, ZipWhip.com. We'd actually use them forever for the front desk. So what they actually let you do is they don't take over your phone number. You can text my main office phone number. So just the regular phone number I use for 17 years, you can text that number from your phone, and it pops up like an instant message at my front desk. So we've been using that for years. People love that. They're much rather text, hey, I'm running late, can I come in early? All that stuff via text. And then they're upgraded, like pro version or something will let you do this mass texting program. So yeah, it's a real good resource for a lot of businesses. And patients do really love to be able to text the front desk instead of calling all the time.
Okay, your book that you wrote in 2015 was all about doing promotions. So if I've heard you right, so you continued with your printed newsletter, you did some texting, you did Facebook ads, and you did emails. So that's 4 things that I'm counting. Did you do any promotions during that time? Well, those were promotions, but in anything else besides that?
Yeah, which I wasn't sure, as my book is really like 80% about internal marketing promotions and doing promotions in your office or in your business. It was a little tricky with COVID. And actually, I was talking to our buddy Rochelle, and she talked me into doing one. So we do pretty much every month. Well, no, every month we do 1 or 2 internal promotions. And she talked me into, with COVID and everything going on, do a really big one. And so we're talking, and my part of New Jersey starts getting pretty country. Like, we have a lot of farmers around. So she's like, do something big. I'm like, what about a car? And she's like, not that big. And I'm like, she's like, maybe a golf cart. And I'm like, people don't really have golf carts where I am. I said, how about a John Deere tractor? So I went out and bought like a $2,000 John Deere tractor, and it just barely fit in. We have the double front doors walking in the office, and it just barely fit in the doors, barely. Like, it cut my finger getting it in. And we parked it right in the middle of the treatment area. And we said, we're giving away this John Deere tractor after 2 months. And we did something a little different with it. So we did, I'm trying to remember, we mixed it up a little bit. I think it was refer a new patient in, and you get a ticket to be entered to win the John Deere. Probably leave us a review, and we'll give you a ticket to win. And then we did, which we've never done before, we said donate $5 to the local food bank, and we'll give you, or 10, it was 10 for the tractor. Donate $10 to the local food bank, and we'll give you a ticket to win the John Deere tractor as well. So we'd never done anything like that before. I've done little stuff, TVs and Nintendo Switches, $200, but nothing big like that. And it was gangbusters. We did that right in the middle of COVID. I think April, right when it first hit, I bought it. We did it for 2 months because it was a bigger prize. And people went crazy. We raised, I think, $1,400 just in ticket sales, which almost, would have paid for itself. We donated it to the local food bank. So you get a picture with, it's actually the pastor of the church, and use that marketing-wise. We got reviews and referrals from it as well, and just got everybody talking about it for a couple of months. And the family that won it had been patients forever, and they show up with a trailer, and the whole office is watching them load this on the trailer with their teenage boys. And so it was a really, really fun promotion. So, yeah, I was kind of to do that. Go ahead.
Did you have some sort of a bucket or something where people put their tickets in, or?
Yeah, so you put, just those raffle tickets you get at the dollar store, and we had them, just put their name on the ticket. We had a big fishbowl in the front desk, so everybody saw it. And obviously everybody saw a giant tractor sitting in your waiting room. So that was a really, really fun promotion. It worked really well. We did during COVID. Yeah, we didn't stop. I did something pretty much every month like that.
Did you do a live Facebook Live to be able to pull the number?
Yeah, we did actually. We did do a Facebook Live with the number, with the pastor of the church. The food bank is ran by the church that's like right next to my office. And the pastor came over with the mayor and pulled the ticket live, which was good. And she, of course, she said his name. It was Daniel, and she said Danielle. It was pretty funny. I said, yeah, pastor. But
so you had people put their name actually on the ticket.
Yeah, then they pull it. Then, we send an email. Congratulations, Dan. You put it in the newsletter. Congratulations. So they get a lot of use out of it. So it was a really good promotion.
So, okay, so that's one promotion. What else? You said you did them all through. What other promotions did you do?
Yeah, so that worked so well. That was 2 months. The next month we donated, we did basically same thing with a Traeger grill, those wood pellet grills. They're like $800 grills. I happen to have one at home and I love it. And someone was talking about it and that worked so well. I said, let's do it again. So we kind of copied the same promotion. We only did it for a month. It was buy a ticket for $5 since it was a little less expensive prize. And that went, I think, the food bank again or something like that, or a homeless, something similar. And same thing, I think it was reviews or referrals. We always mix it up, referrals, reviews, or testimonials. Leave us a video testimonial so we can put it on our YouTube channel. We might have done that for the Traeger grill. So we did the Traeger grill, the same promotion the next month, and the same idea. You know, you do the live, you do the emails, you get it out there. And then the month after that, one of our biggest events every year since I've been in practice is a Patient Appreciation Day. So I was kind of scared to do that. We've narrowed down the months by trial and error for years. It usually works best in September and like April, partially due to the weather in New Jersey, like summer vacations, and then we have winters bad here. So those months have always worked good. But after the Traeger grill and the John Deere, I said, let's try a Patient Appreciation Day. And in the summer, the restrictions were loosening up quite a bit, so we could do stuff. So we did an outside Patient Appreciation Day. I never knew how it would go, and we basically turned out the same numbers we would non-COVID. So we had a good turnout, just like there was no COVID. We kept everyone outside for the festivities. We had music outside. We had food outside, some games and stuff for the kids. We got a big bouncy house, and we do all that stuff outside, make a party. But we kind of kept everything outside for the COVID limits, and we had the chiropractic care inside, obviously. But yeah, it was a month that shouldn't done well. They shouldn't do well in the summer because people are theoretically on vacation. But the timing was good, I think, with COVID because they were starting to loosen up restrictions, and people were in their house for 4 months looking for something to do. But yeah, basically we got a normal turnout for a Patient Appreciation Day, which definitely shouldn't have happened in the middle of COVID. So that was our summer promotional calendar.
Wow. So you talked about reviews. So are you talking Google reviews, and you talked about YouTube reviews? So are you encouraging people to actually do videos? Are they doing it in your office? Tell me how reviews work.
Yeah, reviews are really, really important, especially in healthcare. Google reviews are number one. I'm in a town of 10,000 people, and I think we have 240 5-star reviews. We average about probably 15 to 20 new patients a month just from Google reviews because we've had so many. So Google's number one. We also do some stuff with Yelp. I mean, they're a nightmare to deal with, but some people it's really important. My part of the country, it's not that important, but we do a little bit of Yelp. And we've done Facebook review contests as well. The contests, just like we talked about for reviews, are the best thing to do for it. You don't need anything elaborate like the John Deere tractor, but I've always tell clients it's just something simple like a TV. The easiest way to get reviews, throw a 32-inch TV on your front desk, enter to win this TV, leave us a review on Google or Yelp, and you're entered to win the TV. And just the same with a bucket and put their names in there. You left us a review. Here's your name. Here's your name. At the end of the month, you pick a winner for the TV. But we've done all kinds of stuff, beach giveaways, beach sets. We did Tommy Bahama chairs, all kinds of stuff to get more reviews. But those Google reviews, I'm in a small town. The next chiropractor has like 5, and we have 240 something. So every month, literally it's like 20 people a month come in. You have the most reviews. So it really pays for itself, and it pays for SEO. So most people, Google I would focus on. Yelp is really important in some areas. So if you have to deal with them, there's some other tricks. They're really tough to deal with, but you can get Yelp reviews listed. But Google reviews, so we focused on that a lot. I've kind of backed off a little bit because we have so many, but we do a lot with Google reviews. As far as videos, we do try to get video testimonials. Reviews are the number one thing we go after, and referrals, and then video testimonials are the next. So we'll do a contest. The same, I kind of, wish and wash that same formula. So we'll do the same thing, put a Traeger grill out there, give us a video testimonial, enter to win a Traeger grill, and we'll get a bunch of video testimonials. The staff will just do them on their iPhones, or we have iPads that we have for the office, for office stuff. They'll do that. We'll upload them on our YouTube channel and use them that way. We also have a testimonial page on our website. So when people are looking to check us out, there's like a couple hundred testimonials on our website. And we've done really well. Another strategy, probably one of the better Facebook strategies over the years that I keep going back to, is running video testimonials as ads on Facebook and then retargeting the viewers with an offer. So it's a little bit probably too much to get into now, but basically we'll upload one of these video testimonials, blast it out to my town. Anyone that watched at least half of it, will target them with an ad for some sort of offer to come in. And I've had things that work better than that on Facebook, but that's worked for, I don't even know, 8 years. It's worked. It's, not a home run, but it's a single double every month that we do it for years and years and years. So it's always nice to have a video testimonial, especially us. We're in a small town of 10,000 people. Like if you get a video testimony, somebody knows them. Hey, that's my neighbor John, and so he works even better because we're in a small town. But yeah, for most offices, especially medical, reviews and testimonies are huge for you.
So reviews, do you give them a piece of paper that they go away and they know how to do a Google review, or do they do it right in your office?
Yeah, great question. So, so Google reviews is a little tricky. There's two really good shortcuts that I probably shouldn't give everyone here, but two things to get more Google reviews, especially, people, they don't know how to find you. They don't know where your Google page is. So two things to get that a lot easier. One is to get a URL shortener. So for us, if you just go to GoDaddy and buy a name and you forward where you leave the Google review to them. So if you go, instead of us trying to, Google my name, find me, for our office, it's reviewvfc.com, reviewvfc.com. If they type that into your browser, or if you do it right now, it'll bring you right to my Google map listing exactly at the step where they leave a review. So having them try to figure it out on their own, they're never going to figure it out. So then we use that URL shortener everywhere. So we have little cards printed up in the office. Did you enjoy your visit today? Leave us a review at reviewvfc.com, and they can leave it right there. The other trick for that, too, is a QR code. So you'd basically do the same thing with a QR code. I was away from those for a while. It was so problematic that you had to get an app and everything. But the new phones just read them right from the camera. So those funny-looking QR fuzzy codes, you do the exact same thing. So you have the QR code direct to exactly where you want the review to be left. And you can use them. We'll put signs up in the office and do that as well. In the office, you can have them do it right in the office. Patients will do that. The one mistake I've heard other marketing people teach is to have like a laptop on the front desk and have them leave them there. Google knows that that's all coming from the same computer, and that can get you in trouble. Some people say that have them all in your office. They obviously know where you are geo-wise, having them write them in the office. I haven't heard that's as big of a problem, but we will let people do that. We'll give them cards. And the other nice thing when you have that URL shortener is you can just email too. Hey, this month they're giving away a Traeger grill. Leave us a review at reviewvfc.com. You'll be automatically entered to win. So we use that URL shortener quite a bit. But you can have them do it in the office. Just definitely don't do it from the same computer. That'll definitely get you flagged.
Okay, $2,000 for a John Deere tractor, a grill. I don't know how much those are, $500, whatever, a TV. How much are you charging to one of your adjustments? How much is the average ticket coming in?
Yeah, good question. So one of the reasons we've been successful and one of the reasons we're able to spend this money on marketing is we do collect more per visit than the average office out there. So we're at about $75 per visit we're collecting now, and there's a lot of reasons why we're a lot higher. The average office is probably 45 or 50. So we are able to do a little bit more of this stuff. But to us, even how many people spend $2,000 a month on TV commercials? I'd rather spend it on a John Deere tractor that we get 2 months out of. And as we've been in practice longer, we do less and less external marketing where I don't do radio, I'm not on TV, I'm not spending a ton of money. We spend most of our resources targeting patients, but we do have a much higher than average case value here at the office, which allows us to do some of these things.
Why do you think it is? Why do you think people will pay you more? I mean, I know you've got, first of all, you're not the only chiropractor in there, right? You've got a staff of people?
Yep, we have 3 full-time chiropractors here, yep.
So why do you think they're paid $75 versus $45 or $50?
Yeah, so our fee's a little bit higher than, average office. We also have some technology. So like if you're just coming in for an adjustment, it'd be $65, which is a little higher than some people, but not outrageous. It's a little bit higher. And I think we have a more premium product. We have the latest technology. We have a nice big open office. We have a lot of fancy stuff here. We have some extras that we charge for, like we do spinal decompression, which is like an advanced traction of the spine, and that we charge extra for. And then some of it, too, is we're really good about insurance. We know how to bill insurance. We have a really good billing manager that collects everything we're owed. And we do some extra stuff, too. So, we've branched out into some side businesses. Like we're certified in CDL physicals, which are truck driver physicals. So when you drive any kind of truck, you need a certain kind of physical. And chiropractors are allowed to do those anywhere. And those are $100, which is actually a lower fee than some offices. Like a lot of medical offices would be more like $125, $150. But we charge less at $100, but that still helps bring my average transaction size way up from the $45, $50 chiropractic adjustment. So we'll do 5, 10 of those a day at $100 a pop. So that's an extra cash in our pockets as well. So good billing, charging a little bit more, and having some extra services would probably be the key to us collecting more.
So question, do you even do any chiropractic anymore, or are you pretty much doing all the marketing?
I was at the point before COVID, and I had two associates that were doing most of the work where I was doing very little chiropractic, just my regulars. COVID got me back into like full-time practice, and now one of my doctors actually left to start his own practice, so I was taking over some of his patients. So I was working harder than usual, and now that I've got another full-time staff back up and trained, I'll be backing off treating a little bit. But I still have a pretty decent schedule of patients, and then I have 2 afternoons off that I spend with my family. I leave at 1 o'clock 2 days a week, and do the marketing and stuff as well. So I got a pretty decent schedule.
So you said you've got a lot of technology. Give me a couple examples. What sets you different than? So it sounds like you have an open. So they don't go into rooms. Are the beds just open in the middle there?
Yeah, so for the chiropractic areas, we have 3 chiropractic tables. We have pretty much the most advanced tables, so they lay on them, and the tables actually automatically stretch them out. So that's one thing. They're in kind of bays, like adjusting bays. So they have 75% walls, but they're closed by a curtain. It's not a closed room. And then we have an open therapy area with a bunch of tables on it, and that's where we do things like ultrasound, muscle stim, all that stuff. But even in there, we have stuff most offices don't have. So we have the latest updated hands-free ultrasound machine, so we can stick the ultrasound probe anywhere on you, and the machine does all the work. We have 2 of those. We have cold laser. We have electric acupuncture. The spinal decompression is a big thing that sets us apart. We have 2 of those tables. They're originally those $120,000 tables. They've come way down in price, but they're still a little bit out of a lot of people's budgets. But people love them. They work great. And we have 2 of them, and they're booked all day, every day. And people will pay extra to go on them. And that's a great technology that we have. And then we just have all the gadgets and gizmos. There's not too much that we don't have here. So we have all the little stuff. And I think we have a good staff. They're well-trained, and so everybody's happy here.
Well, when you got all those gizmos and gadgets, there's something to talk about in your newsletter, too, right? Just letting you know something new is coming in.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think nowadays, especially with chiropractic, you either got to do the bare minimum, keep your overhead real low and just keep it real simple, keep it down, or you got to really be the best and have, the latest and greatest. Not buy everything as soon as it comes out, but you don't want to be where everybody else in town has a machine and you don't. So you got to, we try to keep up on it a little bit.
Well, a city of 10,000, you don't have any competition though, right? You're the only one?
No, we do. We have competition. I mean, there's certainly nobody like us. There's a lot of small offices, 1 doc and, one assistant type practices, but there are other offices around, but there's nobody. Yeah, not really much of there's competition, but as far as I'm concerned, there's not much competition.
Yeah, obviously that was a tongue-in-cheek question. I feel sorry for them actually. They probably think, what in the world's going on? Why aren't we getting any of these people?
Yeah, we've had one guy call and complain a couple times. That's why you're doing good. The closest one's called and complained a few times, but it's pretty funny. And actually, in my sub town, my sub-town of 10,000 is 2,500, and there's been 3 or 4 chiropractors try to make it in this town that all went out of business too within not too long ago. My landlord actually didn't want me to open up because he said nobody makes it here. So there's been a couple that have tried.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, I'm looking at the time, so we're just about done. But is there something else? Is something I didn't think about asking, marketing-wise, any kind of business? Because it doesn't even have to be a medical business. It can be, everything you're talking about, doing promotions, doing newsletters, doing Facebook ads, doing reviews, doing all of that kind of stuff can work with any kind of business. Is there
it works with every kind
that
of
I
business.
might have? What's that?
Yeah, all this can work with any business. Reviews are important. They're social currency for today. I think the one main thing for any type of business, we all want to, it's always sexy to get new customers, to be out getting new customers. But if you listen to our last half hour, 80% of it was recalling old customers and doing internal promotions. And, if you've been in business more than a couple of years, there's a lot more referrals, reviews, and internal business that can be generated from your existing clients, even if you only have a handful. But focus on rewarding them. Like you said, our budget for running promotions for our patients is up there. I'd rather spend the time and money, on our existing patients, getting them to come in more, refer more, doing internal promotions, and reaching out and recalling people. Especially during COVID, like I said before, so many places we used to go, we haven't heard from any of them. Just reaching out, they got pretty much anyone that hasn't been in has gotten at least 3 postcards from me now. They've gotten emails, they've gotten Facebook ads for almost the whole time, following them everywhere. So, make sure you keep in touch with your past customers and spend some more money on your existing customers versus always trying to go out and get new ones.
That's a great thing. So obviously you spend money on marketing. Do you have a percentage of your overall budget that you use for marketing?
No, I've never done that. I do have I do a loose budget. I've never been big into budgeting, but now, I'm always like, a Kennedy type person as long as the return's coming on there. But I always end up looking at it every couple months, and you don't want it ever to get above like 15% in an office like this. And I always think it's getting high, and we're never even like close to 10%. So we always keep it pretty low, even when I think it's getting high. I don't follow it that close, but I'll look at QuickBooks after a couple months, like I'm spending too much, and it's always lower than I could spend.
Even with a $2,000 John Deere tractor, huh?
Yeah, but that was a 2-month promotion, so $1,000 a month. If you run, I've been on TV. 2 months of TV ads will cost you more than $2,000, and I'm sure I got more business out of the John Deere. But that's the biggest thing I've ever done in 17 years. Even that Traeger grill at $800, I don't usually spend that much. But we just did a leaf blower for October because we got leaves here in Jersey, and I spent $400 on a leaf blower. But we don't even always need to spend that much. Like I said, for a $200 TV, these things work just as good for a $200 TV as all this expensive stuff.
Well, what I also know about you, you have a calendar, I think, in your break room. And when 1 month is done, you erase it and you take it over to the far right. And so you kind of know what you're going to be doing over the next few months. Are you still doing that? Yeah, the whole year's planned out. We've actually taken that calendar, and my right-hand woman here has put it all in Google Calendar, which is awesome because it's all in there too, so you can see it on your phones and desktop on top of the physical board, which I love doing too. And then the nice thing with Google Calendar is we have it on repeat. So, yeah, the marketing calendar doesn't really change, which is nice. Like at some point, well, not with COVID, but at some point it almost got boring because you know what's next month and everything is done. And I have a staff member that's in charge of ordering the signs and the posters. And that's why people are like, you must spend hours marketing. But she knows she got to order the posters for December, now November. She just orders them. And, a lot of it automatically happens. I write the newsletter and I write a lot of the emails and things, but it doesn't take that much time when you follow a plan. Now, of course, COVID kind of threw it all into craziness, but we're kind of back on it now. We're pretty much, kind of back where normal plan. I mean, we've done a food drive in Thanksgiving for 15 years, and we just did it last week, and it was gangbusters. I was worried it might not turn out as well, and it was like we collected so much food, and the patients, it was we had one of our single best days ever with patient visits in the middle of a pandemic the other day with our food drive going on. So, yeah, we're back to it, and even though it deviated a little bit with COVID, but we're pretty much back on track now. But Dr. Fedich, I'm thinking somebody's going to be listening to this podcast, this radio show, and they're going to say, "Man, I wonder if I could work with that guy. I wonder if he'd coach me. I wonder if do you have any kind of a coaching program for any business owner or even a chiropractor?" Yeah, we do. We have a couple different options available depending on what's going on now. We do some groups and individual coaching as well. If they've been interested in checking it out, and we have a couple of products, they get like a home study marketing course that's really popular where you basically get my monthly promotions done for you on a data CD. Here's our actual poster. Here's the emails we send. We have that all available on my website. It would be just Dr. James Fedich, FEDICH.com. You can see the coaching available and like the done for you marketing campaigns that we have on there as well. Okay, so let me say that website again. Is it doctor spelled out, or is it a DR? Yeah, DR, James, FEDICH.com. All right. Well, Dr. Fedich, this is fabulous. Fortunately, I get to talk to you once every now and then, and so I knew this would be an amazing one. Because so many of business owners, first of all, they never had a plan like you did, and if they don't have a plan, nothing's going to happen. But you execute, you implement, you get stuff done, and that's always the big secret. Anything not done won't make anything. So yeah, too many people always reading books, and got to get it done. Got to implement. That's the key. Got to get it. Yeah, I would also encourage anybody listening to this, go to Amazon, search his Dr. Fedich, Dr. James Fedich, FEDICH, and look for his 2015 book. I bought it. It is fabulous. Doesn't matter that it's 2020. It's still very good information. So thanks, Dr. Fedich. It was amazing having you. Thanks, Nina. Have a great day. You're welcome. And listen, anybody listening, now is the time to take action.
Thank you for listening to Megabucks Radio with Nina Hirschberger. To learn more about the resources mentioned on today's show or to listen to past episodes, visit megabucksradio.com.